bits, tips and bits. Come on, everybody, it's tips and bits. There you go. Right. So yeah, starting off with this is news that I put in just for Zane. And it is, and before he even plugged his Undisputed Anime show, I was going to plug his Undisputed Anime show with the news. So F you, Zane, F you. But yeah, I'm not sure how this will affect you. But it has been announced this week that Netflix have cancelled Cowboy Bebop after one season.
Yes.
Wow. I mean. John Cho, he basically reacted with the sentence, "Whatever happens, happens."
Oh no!
But they have decided not to renew Cowboy Bebop for a second season, cancelling the anime adaptation just 3 weeks after its premiere on the streaming service. Thoughts on this? I mean, I will say this: it rings very closely to Jupiter Ascending in terms of kind of like quick cancellations of anime and comic adaptations. What are your thoughts on this news?
Yeah, I think it was always going to be an uphill battle for it to begin with, because historically speaking, anime sort of adaptations, live adaptations, have never been successful in any shape or form.
Akira? No, wait, that wasn't live action. What am I talking about? Are you saying that Ghost in the Shell was not an incredible live action adaptation, Zane?
It's probably one of the better ones, but it's still not the same. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, it doesn't surprise me because the production looked very, very good and it looked faithful in that regard, but it flirts a lot with the main story and certain characterizations, if I said that correctly, haven't exactly been well executed. So, for example, the last sort of 3 episodes were really centered around the main villain, where compared to the anime, he's almost like, you know, enough of his backstory to know that he's not great. You don't need like an emotional three episode
kind of
arc.
Remain a mystery kind of thing, and that's what makes it interesting. Or
a little bit, he's kind of the whole purpose with the anime is that he's supposed to be like a devil figure, like this dark, undertone sort of thing, where with this it kind of humanizes him, like he's driven by his acceptance of his father and stuff. It's just really it's not great.
Okay, they make it too real.
Yeah, they made you want to care about him, but he shouldn't
be
really
cared about.
Yeah, in so many ways.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, let us know, guys, in the comments and down below what you thought of Cowboy Bebop. I personally have not seen it. It didn't really interest me as a series. I like John Cho a lot. I think he's an amazing actor.
Same.
What is he? Is he Harold or Kumar? I can never remember which. But regardless, he's Harold. Yes, that's it. He finally got rid of those munchies. Let us know what you thought of Cowboy Bebop and whether you think it was worthwhile cancelling. And obviously, did you guys do a review on Undisputed Anime? I'm pretty sure you did, didn't you?
Yeah. We spoke about live action. We did a ranking of live action movies, and that was in there. One thing you'll love about this though is Japan Twitter. Obviously, people started tweeting about it there, and a lot of the translations that came out of it was like, if you're going to redo it, cast Keanu as Spike, the main character.
Fair enough. All right, well, there you go. Speaking of Twitter, you have segued us beautifully into the next piece of news. This kind of actually surprised me. I mean, I guess looking back on it, maybe in hindsight, it's not so much of a huge surprise. However, speaking of Twitter this year, 2021 has been a huge year for movies, finally kind of getting back on track. So we've seen June, we've seen Black Widow, we've seen The Suicide Squad, we've seen The Eternals. And, in the last few months, obviously, we've seen the hype train starting to kick in for No Way Home and The Batman. So, with that in mind, Zane, and based on what you've just talked about, what do you think was the most tweeted about movie of 2021? And I'll give you a clue. It wasn't any of the ones that I've just mentioned.
It wasn't Marvel related, like Shang-Chi or...
Nope. And as soon as I say it, you'll be like, of course.
Is it Snyderverse?
It's Zack Snyder's Justice League was the most tweeted about film of 2021. It is not really surprising when you think about how much hype there was around release the Snyder Cut and the hashtag of it. However, I will say, bearing in mind, Spider-Man No Way Home has been generating a metric ton of hype. I am genuinely quite surprised that a Marvel movie like Spider-Man No Way Home did not take the crown. But bearing in mind as well, this is a movie, Justice League is a movie that was already released in 2017.
Yeah.
So whilst whilst I know the Snyder Cut was a new rebirth, so to speak, it is surprising that it got that much traction to be the most tweeted about thing. And it's also probably shows how vitriolic Twitter is.
I think I saw an article recently as well about how the Blu-ray for this was like the most bought Blu-ray of the year.
Really?
Yeah, because again, not only did they release, the Snyder Cut, but there's obviously like the black and white version. I don't know if it's any different in terms of the screen ratio, because I imagine that was like a tweet of its own.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, I am surprised with that, but also not really surprised. It's weird. I'm in a weird kind of dichotomy where I'm like, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. But I am surprised, but I'm also not surprised.
And then I guess Zach eggs it on a bit more by saying like, oh, that bit at the end with Martian Manhunter that was supposed to be Green Lantern, and then everyone's like, hashtag Snyderverse. Do you know what I mean? Give us the Green Lantern, you cowards.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not going to pretend I'm not one of those people because I want Green Lantern like there's no tomorrow. But yes, it is what it is. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that it was that. But sticking with DC news, so we've had quite a lot of DC news this week. I would like to I'll very briefly touch on this. We won't talk on it too much, but there was the Game Awards this week. And there was a lot of stuff to come out of that, by the way, including a new Wonder Woman game. Which is by the people who made Lord of the Rings, The Shadow of Mordor.
Really?
I think so. I think I read that. I might have got that wrong, guys. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Okay. What I wanted to talk about was the first look at the gameplay for the Suicide Squad, made by the Arkham series alums Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Now, speaking personally, Zane, this has got me almost as hyped as our friend was for the actual movie Suicide Squad. I may be let down, but my God, does this look good? Like, how good did it look, Zane? What are your reactions to it?
Yeah, this looked really good because leading up to this, out of all the sort of DC games that had been announced like the year before at DC Fandom and such, this was probably one I was least looking forward to.
Really?
Yeah, just because they all been cinematic trailers and stuff, and they used really jazzy colors in one of the other teaser trailers, which made me think a bit Fortnite-y. But this gameplay footage completely sold me on it. I was like, oh my God, this looks absolutely bananas, but fantastic at the same time.
I'm so glad I got my Series X yesterday. I'm so glad because I can actually play this now, and I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so good.
Well, I was going to ask you as well, as someone who likes to stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/gentlemanlygamer.
Oh, thank you for the plug. We're approaching 400, nearly there.
Ooh.
Nearly there.
Would this be something that you would stream?
Probably. That's a hard question to ask me right in the middle of a live thing that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yes and no, I think.
Yeah.
I stream the Avengers at the moment, and I'm doing, but I also play it offline. So if there is a functionality for me to be able to play this part of it, because I like to play the Avengers with people. Hint, Zane. Hint, Zane. But if I can play like part of this offline, like if there's like a recurring mission segment to level up your characters and stuff offline,
Yeah.
Sorry, when I say offline, I mean off stream. Sorry, that's what I should say, off stream. Whereas, and then I can go through the main story on stream. Then yeah, there's a possibility I might do that. However, I've already had a mutual friend of ours message me and go, "Dibs on being Harley," and I was like, okay. So they want to play it with me quite clearly.
Nice.
And I'm assuming, I don't know whether the one thing I haven't actually, I just realised now, there's obviously going to be some co-op element. Is it going to be 4-player co-op?
I don't know actually.
I don't know either. Because like I said to him, I'm Captain Boomerang all day long, my friend. Like that is absolutely fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm assuming when you get your Xbox, Zane, you're gonna also join us.
Xbox.
Yeah, you're gonna get an Xbox. You will get one eventually. I can see you turning. I remember your famous, like Zane did a famous video. This is peeking behind the curtain a little bit, guys. Zane, way back when, in like 2016, 2017. He famously did a video that was sent to a mutual WhatsApp group that we're on, showing that he'd sold his Xbox One. In his own words, Xbox was dead, and it was a dead console. There was nothing anymore for them, and he was never going to get any value out of it anymore. And I think the like 6 months later, they announced Games Pass, and then he's partially regretted his decision ever since.
I don't know about partially regret. I traded it in and I got a PS4 with Spider-Man.
You did. So you had 2 PS4s at that point. Yeah. So basically, it's been the slow. He's almost there. He's got PC Games Pass, so he's almost there. He's going to come around to getting an Xbox eventually. I can tell. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it as soon as Bethesda starts saying that, like the Xbox stuff, the Elder Scrolls and all this other kind of stuff is going to be console exclusive. Then it'll turn around. I think, speaking personally. But yes,
there any other games at the awards that piqued your interest? By the way,
Hellblade 2 looks incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I like that. If you haven't played, if you guys for cinematic experiences, this isn't comic related because it's a standalone pretty much cinematic thing. But if you haven't played Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is the first one, which I believe I think it's on all consoles now. I think it's on everything. I'm not sure if it's on PS4. I thought it was, but anyway, that is a remarkable gaming achievement, and it is one of the most truly cinematic games I've ever played in my life. Like it is literally like experiencing a movie and being part of it. It is phenomenal. So them announcing the second one was very exciting to me. I'm also excited to see that there's the new the guy who created Silent Hill has got a new game coming out, and it's got a weird title called it's Splinter something or Splitter View or some. It's a terrible name. It's got an awful name, but the fact that it's made by the same guy who made Silent Hill is exciting because it looks creepy as hell. And then obviously all the usual cohorts, the comic book tie-in related games looked amazing. So there was a lot of good stuff that came out of that. I want to know when the next Fable's coming out as well. They announced Fable and then it's all kind of gone quiet on the Western front.
I don't know if you saw this, but Arex Gaming?
Yes.
He did a video about a rumor of a Daredevil game. Oh,
I will say just quickly, Eclipse, Star Wars Eclipse.
Oh, yeah,
amazing, yeah, it's fine. Like finally, before we go, I will come back to that, Zane. I'm sorry, but
okay.
Finally, and I've nothing against these guys. If you like them, full respect to you if you like them, but finally, the Star Wars license has been ripped away from EA for a bit, and we're going to get some actual variety of Star Wars games because, Eclipse is made by Quantic Dreams, who are the same people who did Detroit Become Human, and they did Heavy Rain and stuff like that. I'm so excited to see like a Star Wars game with like multiple choice outcomes. Can you imagine? It's totally going to be like if you're playing like as a Padawan or a Jedi, and you have to make the decisions of whether you choose the light or the dark, and the story varies from whether you go light side or dark side. How great is that? It's awesome.
That is really cool actually, because historically their games, no matter who plays them, they always have like a different way of reaching different points, don't they?
Yes.
That's and it's really fun about them.
And it's set in the High Republic era, so it's in kind of like just before Anakin era, where the Jedi Order was fully established and they had a Jedi Council and stuff like that. So I can imagine they'll probably either go one of two ways with it. You'll either be a completely normal person, how you get affected by the Force and the Jedi around you, in the sense of like how it impacts the wider world, or you'll be like a Jedi in training and becoming a knight and then a master, and how it happens when you fall to the dark side or stick to the light. But man, I can't wait. That excited me a lot. Like that's the one that is the one I have to tip my hat to PlayStation for, the one timed exclusive as well that they have, which is the remake of Knights of the Old Republic. Bravo, Sony, on grabbing that one, because that is one game that I would maybe buy a PS5 for. Knights of the Old Republic, the first Knights of the Old Republic, I finished it 6 times, I think. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I adore that game, and it has one of the best twists in all of gaming. So yeah. Anyway, we've gotten into the Game Awards deep, man. I didn't mean to go into it like that much. I sorry, I got carried away with all the stuff, but yeah, very, very excited about the Game Awards. You were talking about the YouTuber who
yes. There was a rumor that there was a Daredevil game, and the only reason like a lot of people were talking about this is because the source, they mentioned some other titles that came to fruition, like the Suicide Squad game, I think, was another one. So yeah, a lot of people kind of
interesting
waiting to see if this does come to light.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. We'll see. I guess it depends what law and what situation they're doing it in. Is it going to be a Daredevil game a la Spider-Man? In which case, yeah, kind of interesting. But then how do you make it open world? Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thing. Is it more of a linear storytelling experience, or is it an open world?
I think from
first person shooter.
I think from the post, it was Arkham City sort of premise.
Fair enough. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's move on back to tips and bits. Sorry, got carried away with the Game Awards there, guys. My apologies, but that was exciting this week, I have to be honest with you. Look for our new podcast, Undisputed Games, coming. I'm joking. So sticking with DC, because we were talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League being the number one tweeted thing. Speaking of DC and speaking of Superman, there was an interview this week with Black Adam star Dwayne Johnson. And he was talking to Total Film. And he was talking about the potential for cross-universe establishing and different characters interacting. I'll read the quote. It's quite a long quote, so stick with me. So this is Dwayne Johnson talking to Total Film. Should I do it with the voice of the Rock? You get one shot out of the gate. You get one shot out of the gate to build these characters properly. We paid attention to some of the pitfalls that other films had experienced in the past in the world of DC, and what rightfully got a lot of fans unhappy and rude word. And as a fan, I was one of them. So let's make sure we respect tradition and mythology, but let's not be handcuffed creatively. We can do anything if we keep the audience first. So to me, there's a battle that's going to go down one day between Black Adam and Superman. I don't know who that Superman is going to be, and I don't know who is going to play him. And that's okay. I don't need to know right now, but I'm confident in knowing that, and that's based out of what the fans want. We worked backwards from there. So, 2 things that come out of that. So, number 1, we're going to see a Black Adam versus Superman fight at some point in the DC universe, which I'm quite excited about because I like seeing big, meaty, buff, beefy boys power fighting together.
Sweaty.
Yeah. Oh God. Honestly, just like wrestling, 2 meaty big boys slapping each other around. But the other thing about that is that the uncertainty around Henry Cavill continuing as Superman, because he makes a very good point to say whoever will be playing him. Thoughts on Cavill not being Superman and this barnstormer of a hoss fight between Black Adam and Superman going down? What are your thoughts on that, Zane?
So, ironically, Henry Cavill's been doing the press tour for Witcher 2.
Oh, really?
And
oh, yeah, of course he is.
One thing that I saw on YouTube this week was he made a guest appearance on Lorraine, which is a British a British morning chat show.
Oh, hello there, dears.
Lorraine's a lovely lady, but she's like
a national treasure. Yeah, she's like the Mrs. Doubtfire equivalent of Ellen.
Yeah. And one thing, Lorraine, being the straight talker that she is, she asked if the Superman suit still fits, which Henry replied with, "Yes, it does." And I'm excited. Well, he danced around it, saying like, it still fits. Who's to say what will happen in the future? Blah 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 blah. Which, of course, the speculation window opens. People realize he has one more cameo left in his contract.
Right.
So,
did Lorraine do it in that kind of like flirty, middle-aged housewife kind of way, where she was like, "Does it fit in all the right places?" Is that what it was like, Zane? Is that what it was like? As I know that you're an avid watcher of the show Lorraine.
Any chance I get, I watch Lorraine. Yeah,
I know, right? Anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I wonder if it's a full-on. I hope it's a full-on. I hope he gets Man of Steel 2. He really deserves it. For my money, Cavill has been one of, if not the best Superman. Like, as far as like real portrayals of the character, because obviously Christopher Reeve is a sacred cow that you must not touch kind of thing in terms of kind of like elevation of the genre and whatnot. But like, God, Cavill's just so good. I still love Man of Steel. I still think it's fun. Ending aside, because obviously the ending gets a bit stupid with the old neck cracking and all that other kind of stuff, But fascinating. That's really interesting. There was some speculation about The Rock fighting another version of Superman, and that's where this is, because obviously there's the rumors of I've forgotten his name. I know the actor's name, Michael B. Jordan, portraying the other version of Superman from the other dimension. I can't remember what his name is.
Like Val Zod.
Val Zod, that's what I was looking for. That's the name I was looking for. Thank you very much. Yeah, so there was some speculation maybe he'll fight the Val Zod version of Superman instead of Cavill's Kal-El, but interesting. And speaking of interesting, and sticking again with DC, got a lot of DC news this week. This is fascinating, and this is speculation that it's going to come out a lot this week. So they've been doing test screenings, Warner Brothers have, of the Batman. Now, ordinarily, you would think, oh yeah, they'll be doing one test screening and then that'll be it. No. They've been doing 2 test screens, Zane.
Oh.
Why? Why have they been doing 2 test screens, you ask? Well, interestingly, the 2 test screens, one has been with a certain actor involved and another has been without him involved. So I'll go into the full report here. So whilst I'll read the whole thing out. So this is on Comic Book Movie News, guys. comicbookmovie.com. Sorry. So go and check this out if you want to read the article. I'll read this whole article because it is fascinating. While it was initially reported that the Eternals star Barry Keoghan, I can never pronounce his name, has joined the cast of The Batman as Detective Jim Gordon's partner Stanley Merkel, there have been indications lately that he may be playing the Joker. It's certainly easy enough to imagine the Irish actor doing the Clown Prince of Crime justice, but it is a little too soon to return to that particular world, possibly. The Joker has always been part of the Cape Crusaders' big screen adventures, whilst the past few years have seen the villain appear in Suicide Squad movies and even do his own solo outings. Many fans are ready to move on to other bad guys, and a new story from The Hollywood Reporter may shed some light on how Warner Brothers is approaching the predicament. While the trade is unable to reveal whether Keoghan is playing the Joker, they reveal that multiple sources have told us that Warner Brothers has been testing 2 different cuts of the Batman, one with a certain actor, one without, and that the final test screening occurred last week, with the decision now made as to which version the studio likes, saying, as says one source. So reading between the lines here, it sounds an awful lot like there's a version of the Batman with Keoghan as Joker and one without. Seeing Matt Reeves' take on that character would be interesting, especially when you think about how the likes of the Riddler and the Penguin have been reinvented by the filmmaker. However, another clash with the Harlequin of Hate feels a tad redundant. Batman comes out on March 4th. This is really interesting. I personally hope it's not. I hope they've gone with the version without Joker in it. I don't want to see Joker on screen again. I get it. I understand he's the he's the yin to Batman's yang, but like enough on screen. Like it's I mean like seriously, like it's Heath Ledger was Jack Nicholson is iconic. Heath Ledger's portrayal is obviously iconic and will go forever. Jared Leto is, it is what it is. And then Joaquin Phoenix has obviously won an Oscar for his portrayal of Joker, and it was fine, even though it wasn't really it wasn't really a Joker film. Anyway, I don't need to see Joker again this soon. I was very excited to see a universe actually without him and focusing on the other. Batman. We've said it many times on this show. Batman has one of the greatest rogues galleries of every hero. His rogues gallery is incredible. We have literally had a tip of the iceberg in terms of his villains on screen. I think Mr. Freeze is long overdue a reinvention. I think that I'm excited to see this version of the Riddler because he was again another one that was long overdue a reinvention. I'm super excited to see Colin Farrell's Penguin and what he does with it, because again, that was another one that needed a reinvention. Poison Ivy needs a reinvention. There's so like Clayface. We haven't seen any version of Clayface on the big screen. That's true. Like there's so many. You could do Man Bat. There's so many like good ones. Bringing it into modern times. There's Professor Pig, who is one of the most terrifying villains like in Batman lore, like genuinely scary, and you could easily do a good kind of like pseudo horror picture with him on screen. Red Hood, you've not done anything with Jason Todd and the Robins. Explore that relationship. I don't need to see, as much as I like Barry Keoghan, I can never say his name right, but as much as I enjoyed him in Eternals and I thought he was fine, like I don't want to see Joker against Batman again on screen, just with new actors. What are your thoughts on this, Zane?
It's I heard this rumor a little while ago because I think there was something like about a text message from his brother about how he that kind of originally stemmed from it. But I completely agree with you. I don't think we need another Joker, like any interpretation of Joker again. Like just put it on a shelf for a bit. Like I know it's great and it's fun and it's guaranteed money. Which
that's the issue, isn't it?
Why studios love it. But it's just kind of like, it does. Again, though, it'd be interesting to see Matt Reeves' take. I mean, if there's another movie down the line, like maybe his third movie, if it were ever to come to light, I wouldn't mind it. But
my biggest issue with this is that you can't. So the Joker, right? So we've had bombastic Joker with Jack Nicholson. We've had punk anarchist Joker with Heath Ledger. We've had pseudo gangster Joker with Jared Leto. You've had asylum patient Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. There's only so many places on screen that you can go with Joker without getting into crazy town. Like I mean, like we haven't seen, for example, the cuts off his own face Joker, wears it as a mask, and you can't, without having an established universe, you can't really do that either. It's very difficult to kind of get away with that kind of like craziness. They haven't explored into the supernatural element of Joker in the sense of like, is he an immortal and all that jazz? But I don't need to see this on screen. I don't need to see any of that on screen. And I think some things are better suited for a comic book. And just because, and it frustrates me that this seems to be a classic situation of the studio's involved. Hey, Joker made loads of money. Let's throw Joker into this and make sure it makes loads of money. No, Batman is enough to sell on its own. You just need to set it up right.
Yeah, exactly. And
anyway,
yeah, just a mini extension of that. We've already had some versions from the TV shows as well, like Gotham.
Exactly.
Did like a wishy-washy version and such.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was weird. Jerome, a whole weird. Yeah, that's very strange. He's a great actor though, Cameron Monaghan. He's a great actor, but yeah, weird. All right, moving on. We've got 2 more bits of news to talk about.
2 more bits.
I'll cover them quite quick, and then we'll zoom into the Spider-Man tier list. So, quick interview this week on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, where Chloe Grace Moretz was on. She was on the show. Lovely lady that she is, and she was asked about Hit Girl. Because obviously she was in 2 of the Kick-Ass movies, and there's been some rumors about it. In the past, she's been quite negative about returning as Hit Girl. She's basically said she doesn't want to do it anymore. However, on the Fallon show, this was her exact quote. I think it'd be really fun to see where Hit Girl goes and what she's like as an adult. But I think it would have to be kind of perfect. It has to be the right situation. And it has to have the whole crew back involved across the board. So clarifying that castmates Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, they'd all have to be willing to return before she considers signing on. So sounds like there's kind of like murmurings and stuff about Kick-Ass and Hit Girl returning. Would you be excited to see Kick-Ass again? I'm kind of the first film was really, really. I mean, the first film's amazing. Second film's pretty good. It's okay. I was disappointed there wasn't more Jim Carrey in it. But well, he was. I mean,
yeah.
But yes, what are your thoughts?
It's weird because, like, I guess how long has it been since Kick-Ass? Like
2000. I don't know.
The reason I ask is that that's the beginning of their careers, essentially, isn't it?
No, it was late as that. 2010. I thought it was like 2005. It's 11 years.
Oh, 11 years, sorry. Yeah. And
wow, I'm shocked at that.
In those 10 years, dare I say, they haven't exactly gone to heights in their careers, have they?
I would argue Chloe Moretz got really big and then I think made some poor choices of films like Tom and Jerry. Even though Tom and Jerry was incredibly popular, apparently it made a lot of money. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it made loads of money for the studio.
Is that because when you clicked on it on HBO Max, it showed the Snyder Cut for like the first week?
Oh, that's true. That could be why. Well, regardless, money is money. I don't know. I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson, he was in Avengers.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Quicksilver, so he did get big, but then I guess it's kind of, there's arguments 2 and 4, I mean, Nicolas Cage has gone from strength to strength.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Oh, we haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about that video I sent you.
Yeah, let's do it.
No, we don't have to talk too much about it, but did you enjoy it at least?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's hilarious. Like,
I'm a vampire. I sent Zane on YouTube. We've got this big thing which I won't go too much into for long-term listeners of the show. You'll know what I'm talking about. But there's a YouTube video called Rich D. Grant's Prozac Party, which is on YouTube, and I highly advise you all to go and watch it because it's insane and hilarious. But there's also a YouTube video, and I can't say the full title without swearing, so I'll leave the end bit out. But it's Nicolas Cage losing his shh. And you can fill in what that last word is. And I sent that to Zane as well. And it's basically 5 minutes of Nicolas Cage going insane in movies. And it's hilarious.
After watching that, I've had so many videos this week pop up about Nicolas Cage.
Brilliant.
And it's not just like about his career or, funny videos of him. It's even like celebrities doing impressions of Nicolas Cage. Like,
but that thing that I 'cause the original, we were talking about that thing where he does the ABCs.
Yeah.
Where, ABC. So I originally saw that through Conan O'Brien did an interview with the guy who plays Howard from Big Bang Theory, and he did it on the Conan O'Brien show, and it's hilarious.
One of the things that came up on my For You page. Yeah.
So anyway, go watch it, guys, if you haven't watched it already. So no, I see what you mean about Kick-Ass. Like they haven't really gone from strength to strength, have they? Matthew Vaughn did Kingsman, though. To be fair, afterwards,
and X-Men First Class. Like, I love.
Yeah, did he do that right after Kick-Ass? Did he?
Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, there we go. So, thoughts on thoughts on Hit Girl coming back and doing another Kick-Ass? Let us know in the comments. Obviously, on all these news stories, let us know.
I just remembered they did a comic book run recently with Kick-Ass because Kevin Smith did a couple of issues. I think it was like a year or two ago now. So there's fresh material that they could.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, hopefully it's good. This is the last bit of news I had, which is a speculation article before coming back to the Marvel universe. So we have known for you'll have seen this already, I'm sure, Zane. It's been a rumor from this week, but I just thought it was worthwhile bringing up in the show and talking about before we get into Spider-Man. So Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania is coming out 2023, February 17th, 2023 is the date at the moment that they've got attached to it.
Yeah,
we have known for quite a while now that Corey Stoll, who he has been in House of Cards. He's also been in Billions, as I was talking to you about earlier before the show. He was Aaron Cross in the first Ant-Man. He was Yellow Jacket. He is returning for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It has been confirmed he is returning.
Oh, wow.
However, there was a theory, and that he would obviously return as Yellow Jacket to seek revenge against Scott Lang. But there is a rumor. It is just a rumor, so take this with a pinch of salt, that his return might actually be as a transformed version of MODOK.
No way.
Apparently so. So it's just a rumor for now. It would make a little bit of sense. The notion of Cross being somehow transformed into the megalomaniacal villain might seem far-fetched. It would explain why we haven't seen the character in so many years, and MODOK has been strongly rumored to make his MCU debut in the threequel. There were rumors that Jim Carrey might be in line to play the bizarre-looking villain as well.
I did hear that, yeah.
It's obviously quite a major rumor, so expect a pinch of salt at the moment. But thoughts on that? I think there's been so many rumors about MODOK, and it's normally, where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation. I think based on what happened to Cross at the end of Ant-Man, where he gets kind of like horribly shrunk in like different parts of him shrink at different times, and it manipulates his body quite a lot. I can see that having an effect after being in the quantum realm of like transmorphing him or whatever it is into like the MODOK big head. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on the excitement of potentially seeing MODOK in the MCU?
Yeah, it's another Iron Man villain that we won't see go up against Iron Man. That's my first thought. A bit like the Mandarin. But I guess like if you're going to shoehorn it against anyone, well, not shoehorn it, but if there was anyone else to go up against it, like another sort of tech-based hero, then Ant-Man would make a lot more sense. Maybe even Ironheart in the near future. But it's an interesting cast choice MODOK, if it is.
Yeah, it's a great cast choice because I think it will show that they're taking MODOK more seriously than if they were to put Jim Carrey in the role. Somebody was theorizing that it was Bill Murray. That Bill Murray might be it because he's obviously got a part in the film as well. He's been like cast as like a cameo and stuff, which I thought was quite funny. But I think if you were to put Bill Murray or Jim Carrey in that, it portrays MODOK in a very humoristic light. And I think MODOK is a MODOK is a very serious villain. Like he can be a very serious villain, and he like the idea is that I mean he is like in charge of AIM really, like he is the leader of AIM, and my thoughts are we have had quite a gap since Hydra has gone.
Yeah.
So potentially the MCU are looking to introduce MODOK and reintroduce AIM as this kind of like faceless corporation, you know, with one figurehead that the Avengers can fight against. I don't know. You know, maybe they do that with Roxxon as well. Maybe he's the face for Roxxon Corporation or something. Or, you know, forgive the pun with MODOK's head. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know what to say.
Like, I know, is it Pat Oswald? Like
Patton
Oswald is. I was really surprised that he was like that little. I can't remember his name. The alien that turns up with Eros at the end of Eternals. Considering he really wants to do more MODOK stuff because he did the sort of robot chicken stuff recently, the MODOK series. And I know a lot of people thought, you know, he's perfect for the role.
Yeah, maybe the reason why maybe they're trying to steer away from because that robot chicken thing as a conscious. Again, they don't want to make this a joke thing. Maybe they want MODOK to be a real serious, intimidating threat. That could well be what's going on here. I'm just trying to look up the name of who he played in Eternals.
We'll just get Guy Pearce back.
It was Pip the Troll. That's it.
Pip the Troll. There we go.
Get Guy Pearce back, man. Aldrich Killian. I am the Mandarin.
I am the MODOK.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yes, with his luxurious loafers that he wears in that show. Oh God, honestly,
can you imagine his little legs with loafers and like blown up beautiful face,
but still in that white suit. Still in the white suit, just sitting in a chair with a big head and loafers.
Long blonde locks.
Now that's a Guy Pearce I can get on board with.
That's a serious MODOK right there.
Yes, he's a full-on MODOK right there. Anyway, that's the end of my tips and bits for this week.